All right, we can go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening on Spark's first base member meeting of the year. So great to have y'all. As you can tell, I am not Kay, nor am I Asha. I am actually filling in for them tonight as they take care of some things. But yeah, so excited to have y'all here. We're actually just going to start with introductions as per usual. So if folks want to say their name, pronouns, and tonight's icebreaker question. If you were in the circus, or if you were a circus performer, what would be your talent? So again, that's name, pronouns, and if you were a circus performer, what would be your talent? And I'm happy to start. Hey everyone, Agbo, she, her pronouns with Spark. If I was in the circus, I think I would be a contortionist. I just think they're cool. And whoever's comfortable can go next.
I can go ahead and go next. Hi everyone, my name is Nor and I use they them pronouns. I think something I always thought was so cool was like the people that could walk on the tightrope, could cross like fire and all that. So I'd love to do like stuff like that.
Hey everyone, my name is Darcel. I use they, she pronouns. If I was in the circus, I feel like in line with everyone else. I'd want to be like an acrobat or something like that. Something fun where I could fly around.
My name is Freya. Pronouns are she, her. And if I was in the circus, probably be a lion tamer because I like to work with animals. Although I think in my act, I'd put in a little humor. And I would definitely look after my critters.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rihanna. And if I could be a part of a circus, I think I'll be an acrobatic as well, or maybe a juggler. I don't know. Oh, and pronouns are she, her.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bambi Hayes Brown, pronouns she, her. I would definitely be a juggler because I'm juggling multiple things all the time. So that seems to fit in as well as walking tight ropes. But that's it.
Hey, everybody. My name is 20, pronoun she, they. And if I was in the circus, I'd probably be the person who walks the tightrope, or I'd be like one of the fire breathers. I think the fire breathers are pretty cool. So, yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Erin. I'm the communications manager at Spark. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I think I would be a juggler or anything that doesn't have to do with being off the ground. I'm not a heights person.
My name is Harmony. Sorry. Pronoun she, her. I think I'd be like an acrobat or like on the trapeze or something. Because I like being in the air, I like flying. And I have really good balance too. So
hello, I'm Tashari. They, she pronouns are fine, and I have a complicated relationship with pronouns, and mine personally, anyway. I realized I'd never been to a circus, so I'm on Wikipedia right now. If there were like magicians at circuses, I think I'd be a magician, but I don't know like what else there might be. So I'm gonna say magician.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elias. He, him pronouns. I think I would be I'm thinking a clown, just kind of like real simple, real classic.
Hi everyone, my name is Cal. I would be like a fortune teller, because I also don't really know anything about circus vibes. So yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marlo. I would probably be a fire thrower or breather, because I want to play with fire and I want to see how it goes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kyler. She, her pronouns. Basically would do everything else that everybody else has been saying, probably like aerialist, tightrope, all that in the air.
Hey y'all, my name is Bonnie. I would be the master. So, yeah, I want to be in a black cat circuit. I would be black cat ringmaster. And then, if y'all have some seniors, so they have some Caribbean dances. I would also do that.
Nandi,
And
sorry, I don't know if it's just me, but you're a little hard to hear.
Oh, yeah, you know why? Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, it's my speaker. I have my speaker plugged in. I forgot. Okay, I said if I was, I would be, what would I be? Oh, the ringmaster. And I don't know if y'all been to the Universal Circus. I would be a ringmaster at the Universal Circus, and they also have like some Caribbean dancers. I would be a part of that show. And then they got some really fine, strong Black folks that do this show with the horses. I don't really know what you call their show, their little segment, but I want to be on them, on the horses. So yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole, and my pronouns are she, her, and I'm happy to be here this evening. If I was part of a circus, like Nandi, I'd probably be the ring mistress, is it? Because I just love to entertain folks. And when I'm not doing that, I would love to be the one giving out the popcorn, because the smell of popcorn makes me happy.
Has everyone gone who wanted to go? I know we had some folks introduce themselves in the chat. All right, well, we can go ahead and jump into the agenda. Again, welcome y'all. Great to hear y'all's, I guess, circus preferences. Let's see. I'm just gonna break down tonight's agenda for y'all, and then we'll hop into what we have going on. So we're going to talk a bit about what Spark has going on. So just like the different opportunities we have, opportunities to volunteer, other ways to plug in. I'll talk about our brand new trans resource guide. That's amazing. Then with this being the first quarter of the year, it is legislative session. So myself and Elias will be providing some information on legislative session and Spark's legislative agenda. Then we'll have our break, and afterwards we'll transition into our self-care practice, which will be a grounding breathwork session with Crystal Mons. So yeah, we can get started. Any questions about the agenda so far? All right. So I guess I can break down some of just like opportunities that Spark has. So we have various ways to plug in. You are actually in one of those like spaces. Our base member meetings are a great place to plug in, learn a bit about Spark, and get into, I guess, the quote unquote work. If you're interested in learning a bit more about the work we do or being a bit more involved with work we do, you can connect with our organizer, Asha, who'd be happy to like have a one-on-one with you and talk a bit more about how you can get plugged in. Some other ways you can get plugged in, we have a couple of campaigns that we're actually a part of. And I'll talk a bit more about them when we're talking about legislative session. But the Fake Clinics campaign and then the Power in a Name campaign, there are opportunities to volunteer there. And for both, well, for the Fake Clinic Suck campaign, I encourage y'all to reach out to me if you're interested. And then Power in a Name, I believe that would be Kay, if you're interested in assisting with that or volunteering with that. What else do we have going on?
What is the Power in a Name campaign?
Oh, yes. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I was going to talk a bit more about that during the legislative session piece, but the Power in a Name campaign, this is like a long-term legislative and cultural organizing campaign where we're trying to ease the name and gender marker change process in Georgia. So we're actually part of a couple of coalitions who are doing that work in various degrees, but we also want to include some cultural organizing elements in there. So it's a great opportunity to get involved, do some like advocacy, things like that. But also if you want to learn how to grow in your leadership as like an organizer or like do some cultural organizing, that's also a great opportunity to do that as well. I hope I answered your question, Darcel.
Yeah, thanks, Agbo.
No problem. What else? Oh, I know we haven't actually released it yet, so I guess y'all get like the first first ones to get the information about that. But we're actually going to be accepting, I don't know, like pieces. We're going to be accepting spoken word pieces for a la, I guess, vagina monologues. So we really want to get folks to submit posts, things like that. We're still working out how we're going to facilitate that. But if you're a writer, or if you know someone who's a writer, particularly of poetry or spoken word, be on the lookout for that announcement because we're very, very excited about that. And then second to last thing. So this weekend, Saturday, if you haven't seen or signed up already, we have our Spark Organizing Intensive. So this is our annual organizing training for legislative session. There you'll learn just about like what we have in store for legislative session, some of the issues will be like a bit more, it'll be a bit more involved than like the issues we talk about tonight. You'll have an opportunity just to like work with each other, get to know other folks who are connected with Spark, and it'll be a blast. So it's this Saturday, 10 to 2. You can find more information on our Instagram, but in the meantime, I can put the registration link in the chat. So if you're interested, please register. Would love to see you there. And then last, I wanted to make sure to uplift our brand new trans resource guide. So our Light Fellows from last year, this is a fellowship that we hold during like the late summer into fall of each year. I say each year, like last year wasn't the second year, but it is an annual thing we plan to do. And during this fellowship period, they actually created a trans resource guide for folks. It's beautiful, it's brilliant, it's very, very helpful. I will also be putting the link to that in the chat as well. encourage everyone to check it out. Or if you have folks who may be in need of this kind of resource, please share with them. Very, very proud of the work that was done on that. And I think I covered everything. Apologies, y'all. I actually did step in last minute to cover facilitating tonight's meeting. So thank you for bearing with me. Any questions, comments, announcements from y'all? Awesomeness. Okay,
I have
cool.
a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
For, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. For the bit.ly link for the organizing intensive, it's taking me to a state of the industry report page and not, is there another way I can get to the registration?
You know what? That's my bad. When you said, I think I'm doing something wrong, I'm like, I'm confident that it was me. Yeah, I put the link in wrong. So let me correct that. There we go. Thank you for flagging.
Thank you.
I think you may have put the same link in.
Oh no, the first one was 2023, and then the second one just says SOI 23.
Got it, thanks.
No problem. Yay, awesome, thank you.
How do you find the chat?
Oh, if you go into your bottom, I guess, oh, are you joining from the computer or from the phone?
I'm on my computer.
Okay, if you go into like the bottom like toolbar, there is like a little, I guess like word bubble called chat. If you click that, you should be able to see the chat.
I'm on my work computer. I think they might have disabled it.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that was a thing that could be done.
Here. Hold on. I can just join from my phone.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why that would happen. Any other questions?
Is the event this weekend, it's virtual or in person?
It's virtual. Sorry, I should have made that more clear. Yes, it's a virtual event. You will have the opportunity to get brunch as well on Spark. So yeah, very much hope to see y'all there and learn about legislative session. Cool. So now speaking, I guess, of our Spark organizing intensive and legislative session, we did want to provide the opportunity for y'all to get, I guess, like a sneak peek of our legislative agenda during tonight's meeting. We officially launch it during SOI on Saturday, but because y'all are joining us this evening, you get to be the first ones to see it. I want to emphasize that this is actually like a living document. So as we go through session, there may be some things that we add on there just based off like whatever horribleness they decide to do in the legislature or whatever greatness they decide to do in the legislature. But I wanted to make that clear that it is a living document. And we would love to hear from y'all about like the issues that you care most about. If there's something going on locally that you want us to amplify, if there's like an issue related to RJ, which I guess everything is RJ, that you want us to amplify, please let us know. Maybe we can put it in the legislative agenda as well. So I wanted to make that clear. And I am actually going to share my screen so y'all can see this amazing presentation that our policy fellow Elias put together. All right, are y'all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, all right, so once again, we're just going to go through our 2023 legislative agenda. Each year, We have different legislative priorities that we want to uplift, and different just like legislative goals we want to achieve. For tonight's purposes, even though on Saturday we'll be going through this agenda again, we'll be doing it in a lot more like detail and provide space for folks to really engage with it. But tonight we'll just give you like just some quick facts and information about each issue area. But if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to either come off mute, put in the chat, raise your hand, what have you, and we'll be happy to address them. So, all right, we can go ahead and get started. All right, so just as an overview, this is what we'll be like covering in the agenda, and then just like covering tonight. We have things like just ranging from queer and trans liberation, comprehensive sex ed, HIV decrim, protecting and increasing abortion access, all of these just like lovely RJ things, some that Spark has been working on for years, and some relatively new issues that we've introduced just based off shifting tides and again, horribleness that has happened in the legislature. So I'll start us off with the queer and trans liberation, abolishing anti-Blackness, and uplifting anti-racism piece. So as, I guess, advocates within Spark, we focus on centering queer and trans liberation, abolishing anti-Blackness, and uplifting anti-racism in all of our work. Oh, sorry, I did not note that. Carter, are you able to, I'm sorry, I don't know how like we typically do this. But are you able to provide the Uber Eats link? Perfect, thank you. So Carter momentarily will put the Uber Eats link in the chat. From there, you should be able to order your food. Thank you. I can't remember who said it, but thank you for uplifting because I completely forgot to mention that. All right, so yes, a big part of our work or like the central, oh, thank you, Carter. Our central like purpose within Spark is centering queer and trans liberation, abolishing anti-Blackness, and uplifting anti-racism in all of our work. So of course, to the extent that it can, we do this with our legislative advocacy as well. So part of this work is opposing House Bill 1084, which was passed in 2022. If folks are familiar with all of the CRT, Don't Say Gay bills that were just spanning the United States last year, the House Bill 1084 bans teachers from talking about divisive topic, quote unquote, divisive topics of systemic and interpersonal racism in Georgia classrooms. So if folks are unfamiliar with just the conversation around critical race theory and everything like that, basically there is a particular group that would love to see our public schools not teach about racism or anti-Blackness or straight up history. So yeah, we definitely stand opposed to that. Are there any petitions against HB 1084? I can make one. So right now, the goal would be to get that overturned if possible. The bill is already like really passed and into policy. But we're hoping, even though this isn't something that Spark is actually working on this year as far as like passing an opposing bill, we're hoping that eventually we'll have a bill that can sort of challenge that and make it so that teachers can teach facts again, I guess. And then of course we oppose any bills in 2023 that would prohibit discussions of gender identity and sexual orientation in Georgia schools. So if folks are familiar with Florida's Don't Say Gay bill, we would of course oppose a similar bill being introduced or passing in Georgia. Any questions? And I realize I didn't introduce you, Elias, so apologies for that. So Elias and I will be switching off with each of these issue areas. Elias is our wonderful If, When, How policy fellow. And yeah, he will be helping me out with this tonight.
Thank you. So our second issue area is protecting trans youth. And, this ties back into the previous topic of queer and trans liberation, but Spark would do this work by opposing the, opposing the legislation that was passed last year in 2022 that granted Georgia high school associations the authority to enact a trans high school sports ban. So currently in Georgia, there is a trans misogynistic sports ban that requires trans students to play on the sports team that correlates with the sex listed on their birth certificate. Spark opposes that legislation and demands the right for trans youth to play on the gendered sports team of their choice. Spark also is, great uplifting point, Egbo. So the ban hasn't gone into full effect yet. Apparently the ban bill is functionally ineffective. So if any sort of replacement bill is introduced, Spark would be opposing a ban. Spark also is looking to protect trans youth trans youth's ability to access gender-affirming care, and opposes any legislation criminalizing gender-affirming care providers or the parents of trans and gender-expansive youth undergoing gender-affirming medical care. So for those who don't know, Utah just passed a ban this legislative session in Utah that would ban trans youth or trans minors from accessing gender-affirming care. And states like Arkansas and Virginia have also introduced these sort of bills. So were we to see any of bills like that in Georgia, Spark would oppose any sort of bills that attack the rights of trans youth.
I was talking and I didn't unmute myself. So, all right, I guess my most favorite topic, to the extent that it can be my favorite, decreasing the prevalence, power, and funding of crisis pregnancy centers. For those unfamiliar with crisis pregnancy centers, also known as fake clinics, these are organizations, entities that will deceive pregnant people into using their services only to discourage them from getting an abortion. And they'll do this by lying to folks, shaming folks, any means of deception up to and including locating themselves right next to an actual abortion clinic and trying to lure patients into using their services instead of actual medical services. This year, after a couple of years actually of just working against CPCs, wanting to address the issue that Georgia currently funds CPCs, $2 million per year of state dollars are given to crisis pregnancy centers. This was funding that was passed in 2016. So ultimately, our goal is to get that funding overturned, but in the meantime, we're hoping we can do some harm reduction as it relates to CPCs. So this session, we intend to introduce actually two bills to address the false advertising of CPCs as part of the Fake Clinic Suck, CPC Suck campaign. So one of them is the Pregnancy Center Disclosure Act, which basically would make it so they have to be more transparent about the fact that they don't provide abortions, that they are a pregnancy center. And yeah, they don't really provide, or they don't have any like licensed medical providers on staff. And then the Crisis Pregnancy Center Fraud Prevention Act, which is similar, in that there would sort of be like a means of accountability or reporting if someone like encounters a CPC that is lying to them. Oh my goodness, I am so glad you highlighted that in the chat. So there's a really great researcher at UGA who created a search engine to identify CPCs and works a lot with the Medical College of Georgia on research against CPCs in case networking with researchers would be helpful. Yes, Dr. Andrea Swartzendruber, she's actually a part of the campaign and a big help to the campaign. We highlight her CPC map as a resource. And when she's able to join us, she's always just filled with incredible, just very, very helpful information. Yeah, and if folks want to talk a bit more about it, please reach out. But we are looking for more research into CPCs, primarily just like their impact on pregnant people who try to use their services. And for folks on this call, if you have encountered a CPC for like whatever reason, we would love to hear from you. You know, this is something we want to make sure that it is community led and that folks' stories are being told. Oh, thank you, Elias, for putting that in the chat as well. And then, yeah, like I said, we're working towards the ultimate goal of repealing that grant program. Yes, Dr. Andrea Swartzendruber, yes. And there were a couple of, I can't remember if it was like Republican legislators or CPC specifically who called on UGA to like, I guess, get rid of the Crisis Pregnancy Center map, like complain to UGA about the map because they felt that they were being like targeted or some, I guess, for harm or something like that. So it is very important work that we're doing, and it's work we want to continue doing, and very, very excited that we're introducing these two bills this year.
So our next issue area is protecting and increasing abortion access in Georgia. Spark is doing this by chairing the Reproductive Freedom Act. Asha is actually the chair of this coalition, and the Reproductive Freedom Act was introduced in the House and the Senate in Georgia on January 24th. And it would enshrine the right to abortion into state law, among other things, protecting, working to protect rights to abortion access. Spark is also will be advocating for pregnancy-related services and discussions that are truly inclusive of, accessible to, and when needed, centering queer, trans, and gender expansive folks, because we know that queer and trans people are often left out of or erased from services and discussions of abortion-related care. And then Spark is also following the outcome of the 6-week abortion ban in the sister song, the Georgia case, which is actually set to be heard in the Georgia Supreme Court on March 28th.
All right. Moving forward. Improving the gender markers. Oh, did someone come off mute? All right. Improving the gender marker and name change process in Georgia. So I spoke about this earlier, but a part of our campaign work is the Power in a Name project. So as part of that work, we do sit on a couple of coalitions who kind of share this same goal of easing access to accurate IDs for trans folks. So we intend for this year as part of this coalition to introduce the Freedom to Drive Act. So the coalition is called Freedom to Drive Coalition. The act would implement a driver's card that would make it easier for trans and gender expansive folks to obtain an ID with an accurate gender marker. So from like the founding of this coalition, at first, its ultimate goal, of course, was to make drivers more accessible to undocumented folks. But there were like some pretty just loud and passionate advocates who were on the coalition before Spark actually came aboard, who advocated for trans and gender expansive folks to be included in communications about the bill and why they were doing this work. So yeah, just making it easier for folks to get IDs with their accurate gender markers, just really just marking themselves what the gender marker that they want to use, without having to go through the process of having any like gender affirming surgery or any just like unnecessary surgery, getting a note from a doctor, going to the courts, changing your birth certificate, all that. It really is just a thing of being able to sign an affidavit that this is my gender marker and moving on. And then supporting removing surgical requirements for a gender marker change and adopting a self-attestation standard. So yeah, like I said before, just really making it so that there are no longer these burdensome requirements to change your gender marker.
The next issue area that Spark is focusing on is the prison industrial complex abolition. And although this legislative session, Spark is not currently like chairing or leading any sort of kind of like bills or anything about this topic, Spark continues to advocate for the abolition of the prison industrial complex. Spark supports transformative changes with the goal of complete abolition. And Spark also supports reformist policies that make incremental improvements to conditions affecting people impacted by the carceral state. It is, you know, our Spark's ultimate goal is abolition. And we continue to support any work done this legislative session that would reach those means.
HIV decriminalization. So this is something we've spent many, many years, even like before I joined Spark, in advocating. So we're advocating for full HIV decriminalization. For those unfamiliar, we do have laws that subject people living with HIV to uniquely negative treatment under the law. So if, for example, if someone is HIV positive and they're being arrested and then they bite a cop, you know, spit on a cop, something like that, they could have extra charges tacked on to whatever charges that they would give them because of their positive status. And then along with that, we're supporting education efforts to destigmatize HIV and AIDS, because a lot of these unjust laws come from HIV stigma and misinformation.
Spark is also working toward advocating for comprehensive sex education in Georgia schools. So currently under Georgia law, sex education instruction in Georgia schools is required to emphasize abstinence from sexual activities until marriage as an important personal goal for students, and as an effective method of prevention of pregnancy, STIs, and AIDS. So Spark, you know, opposes those current rules and advocates for comprehensive, secular, trauma-informed, disability-inclusive, queer-inclusive, and trans-inclusive sexual education, because Georgia students should be able to receive sex education that actually informs them about their bodies and future relationships.
Opposing Georgia's fetal personhood statute. So when HB 481 was passed in 2019, Georgia was actually pretty unique in that with this particular abortion ban, they also added, I guess, a fetal personhood clause that basically states that a fetus is a person. There are so many implications for that, from oh, if I'm pregnant, can I be in the HOV lane? 2, am I able to do IVF effectively? So we oppose that provision of the 6-week ban. We demand that it's removed from Georgia law. We're hoping that, with this opposition, and if they're to remove this statute, we intend to be protecting poor people, Black women, and trans and gender expansive folks, BIPOC, from harm or criminalization that could arise under the fetal personhood provision.
Spark also advocates for increasing access to family planning, decriminalizing artificial insemination, and protecting access to IVF. So Spark advocates for the decriminalization of artificial insemination and the ability for people to manage their own artificial insemination. So in Georgia, the only people who can legally perform AI are licensed physicians, which can create significant financial and safety burdens on people who are seeking to become pregnant through AI. Often queer, trans, and gender expansive people are more likely to be unemployed or low income, or frequently victimized by institutional homophobia and transphobia in the healthcare industry that could provide barriers to feeling safe and comfortable or able to access AI through a licensed physician. And this often significantly impacts queer, trans, and gender expansive people more than cisgender heterosexual people. This also means that midwives who wish to provide these services, or individuals who want to manage their own AI, expose themselves to criminal liability if they do so. So Spark advocates for the decriminalization of AI to make it a more accessible service to people who are looking to become pregnant, especially queer, trans, and gender expansive folks. Spark also advocates for family planning services to be affordable and accessible, especially for queer, trans, and gender expansive, BIPOC, especially because there can be significant financial barriers to access to family planning services, and all people should be able to access those services for their own planning. And then Spark also demands that, as Egbo mentioned, the fetal personhood statute can raise different legal implications regarding IVF, because when a person undergoes IVF, many eggs are fertilized at once, but only one or two are usually implanted, which means the rest of the embryos are either frozen or discarded. And when there's a fetal personhood provision, that raises questions about the legality of discarding an embryo if it is legally considered to be a person, which has not yet, but could potentially raise some barriers to accessing IVF for people. So Spark demands that IVF remains legal in Georgia despite the 6-week abortion ban's fetal personhood provision.
And finally, Amplify Georgia's reproductive justice agenda. So Amplify Georgia is a collaborative of several, I'll just say several repro organizations who focus on local and state level abortion access work. Spark is a very active member of the Amplify Georgia Coalition. Our Fake Clinics Suck campaign, we currently chair that, as well as the Reproductive Freedom Act campaign within the Amplify's reproductive justice agenda. So we do a lot of work at Amplify. It's a great collaborative. And they've had like a lot of successes. They actually started an abortion fund in Atlanta, which awesome. And yeah, we're very, very fortunate to be part of the work that they're doing. Okay, perfect. Thank you. And I think that was the last one, actually. I know we're going a little bit over time. Oh, like I said before, This is a living document. This agenda will continue to be updated as the legislative session progresses and RJ issues continue to develop. If we miss a topic, please let us know. We'd be happy to add it to the agenda because of course we want this to be a community-led effort. Questions, comments?
Oh, I have a
Go ahead.
list of people to whom I send petitions and articles pertaining to women's health and issues, as well as transgender people's issues. So if anybody wants to join that list, just send me your email. And of course, you are free to drop off at any time. You get probably between 15, 20, 25 links every few days. Mostly serious, sometimes a little humor.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that offering. Any other questions or comments? Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. And yeah, this is just part of like Spark's work in general. We actually went through a strategic planning process. Was it last year? I think it was last year, maybe the year before. In 2020, was it 2021? I think it was 2021. And yeah, we really kind of honed in on the kind of work we want to be doing. So yeah, I think we're actually a little bit over time. So I do want to transition us into our break. Carter, if they haven't already, will be providing the Uber Eats codes in the chat, so y'all can feed yourselves. And then after we come back from break at, I guess we'll come back at 7 since we're a little over time. We'll be doing some grounding breath work with Crystal Mons. So thanks y'all for joining. And yeah, go get yourself something to eat.
Okay, it is 7 o'clock, so I will give everyone about a minute to come back in, and I will introduce our next facilitator. All right, so again, I am Erin. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm going to introduce the facilitator for our next section, which is like our wellness part of our monthly meetings. So I'm excited to introduce Crystal Mons of Osatium. Crystal's pronouns are she, they, and they are a Southern-born healing practitioner and the managing director of Osatium, which is a holistic, body-loving, and community-centered wellness company based in Atlanta, Georgia. She trained in Mysore, India, and utilizes her trainings in traditional Hatha, Ashtanga, Ayurveda, and Pranayama, as well as her Creole and traditional West African lineage to foster a complete wellness practice centering Black and Indigenous folks and trans and queer folks of color. So you can find Crystal at Osatium on social media, as well as www.osatium.com. And Crystal, I'm gonna hand it off to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that intro, Erin. I do want to make sure that everybody can hear me before I get into it. So drop something in the chat, or if you're on camera, give me a thumbs up, please. Perfect, perfect. All right. So tonight we are going to, I just want to do a couple of introduction things to start with. We are going to be seated. You do not have to be seated like me. If you are higher off the ground, try to make sure your feet are flat on the floor. And we are going to be ending in a Shavasana. So if you don't want to do that part, you want to stay seated, that's fine. But if you do, you know, just make sure that you have space enough to lay it down too. All right. So we are going to do some pranayama or breath work tonight, and we're going to do about 30 minutes, depending on time, 25 to 30 minutes. And we want to just focus on building lung capacity, but also just a couple of techniques to keep your heart rate down and your anxiety in check, so you can have those tools moving forward. I know it's a difficult time, like it always is, right? And, you know, we need every tool that we can get to mitigate our difficulties. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So come somewhere comfortable. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, when we move into Shavasana later, if you do have lower back problems, it's good practice to have something under your knees. So if you wanna get a pillow or anything like that to raise your knees later, do that now. All right, so go ahead and get comfortable. Again, feet flat. And we're just gonna close our eyes first and take a deep inhale through the nose and a deep exhale through the nose. Again, deep inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. I'm going to start with a little bit of movement. Inhale the arms up, out to your sides and overhead. Exhale down. Again, inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time with the movement, inhale up. Exhale down. As you exhale, we're going to bring the hands right in the center of the chest and just hold here. And we're going to keep that breathing. Right now we're focusing on our Ujjayi breathing. So you're inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Resting the tongue against the roof of the mouth. So you can feel that slight vibration of the breath in the back of the throat. Again, inhale. Exhale. Drop the shoulders, make sure they're relaxed. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to start to slow down our exhales. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and drop the hands to the knees. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Even slower exhale. Inhale. Make sure this exhale, you can feel it in the back of the throat. Inhale. Should be audible. Or you should hear the vibration. Exhale. This time we're going to take a deep inhale. And hold that breath. And exhale. Take an inhale, normal breathing here. Exhale, normal pace. And again, we're going to inhale deep and hold. And exhale. I'm going to do a few more rounds. Take a regular inhale. Regular exhale. And deep inhale and hold. And exhale. Straight into the next one. We're going to inhale and hold. And exhale. Again, deep inhale and hold. And exhale. You're going to go ahead and return to your normal breathing here. If you need to move a little bit, open up the shoulders, you can rotate them back and forth, or rotate the spine. Here, you can go ahead and do that. And next, we're going to go into our alternate nostril breathing. So continue your normal breathing while I just talk about what happens here. Continue to move your body. If you need to open up any of the joints. So we're going to take our right hand. We're going to keep the thumb loose and the pinky loose. If it's more comfortable for you, you can do the thumb and the ring and middle fingers. Depends on what feels best to you. So first we're going to close the right nostril. We're going to inhale through the left. We're going to exhale through the right. Then we're going to inhale through the right and exhale through the left. We're going to do that for 10 rounds. And then we're going to switch. So we'll just be starting on the opposite side. All right. So take your last regular inhale and exhale here. And we're going to go ahead and close the right nostril, inhale through the left. Close the left and exhale through the right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale 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 right. Inhale right. Exhale left. 3 more. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Last set. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. We're going to return to our normal breathing for a few breaths here. One thing I forgot to mention at the beginning, this is one of those breaths that will clear out everything. So if you need to go run and grab some tissue, clear out the nasal passages, go ahead and do that. And in a couple more breaths, we're going to do that again, starting with inhaling on the right. Last regular breath here. And when you're ready, inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. 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 Two more. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale left. Excuse me, inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Go ahead and return to your normal breathing. And again, if you need to blow your nose, go ahead and do that. What the alternate nostril breathing does, aside from calming us down, it's said to connect the right and left brain. And one of the things that our body does, a lot of people don't know, but when you're breathing through your nose, you're really only using one nostril at a time. So this just kind of balances things out consciously. So continue your normal breathing here. And again, we want to try to focus on making sure we feel the vibration of the breath in the back of the throat. We want that to become our normal breath. We're going to take a few more rounds here of movement. So on your next inhale, take the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together. Again, inhale up. And exhale. Inhale up. Palms together, exhale down. We're going to inhale the arms up. This time, clasp the hands together. I'm bringing them down so you can see inside the frame. We're going to take the palms up and send them up towards the sky or the ceiling. And here we're just lengthening the spine. giving our rib cage a little more room to open up. So press up with the hands. Press the sit bones down into your seat. And we're just going to breathe here, looking slightly up if that's comfortable for you. And on your next exhale, lower the hands down. If you need a little bit more of a stretch here, which you don't have to, you can go ahead and bring the hands behind you. Fists together. And just lean forward so you can open up the upper back and the shoulders. If that doesn't work for you, you can stay where you are with the hands straight up. On the next inhale, we're going to roll it back up. And from here, if you're comfortable laying down, we're going to go ahead and lay it down. And just push towards the feet. And you can roll back. From here, we're just going to rest the hands on the bellies. If it's more comfortable for you, you can bring the palms facing up, arms down to your sides. And what I'm showing y'all now is with the knees elevated. If you're having low back problems, you can just go ahead and place something under the knees here. Otherwise, go ahead and straighten the knees. And just breathe here. Go ahead and close your eyes. So here we're just going to go through the whole body, scanning from the bottom up. We're just relaxing every muscle in the body. Still focusing on our breathing, using our breath to do that. So wiggle the fingers and go ahead and relax them. Wiggle the toes and relax the toes. And relax the calves and the knees. Relax the thighs and the glutes. Make sure you're not holding on to any tightness here. Release any tension from the spine. Starting from the lower back, the middle back, and the upper back. Allow the spine to sink into your mat, or into the floor, and wherever your surface is. Yeah. Relax the upper arms and the shoulders. Relax the forearms and the wrists and the hands. Release any tension from the neck and the jaw. Relax the cheeks and the eyebrows and the rest of the face. Just focus here on your breath. I want to make sure we're breathing really deep. The belly should rise as you inhale and fall as you exhale. Continue to focus on that deep breathing. Deep inhale through the nose. Slow exhale through the nose. Deep inhale through the nose. Into the belly. Slow exhale through the nose. Deep inhale through the nose, tracing that breath, filling the lungs. Slow exhale through the nose. Deep inhale. Slow exhale. Continue to focus on the fall and rise of the belly. Relaxing all the muscles. It's going to get quiet here for a little bit. Your connection is fine. I'm still here. But I want you to just focus on your breath for these next few breaths. Now we're going to slowly begin to wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. Rotate the hands, directions. Rotate the feet in both directions. Turn the head to the left. And then to the right. I'll raise the right arm overhead if you are laying down here. And just roll over onto your right side. Relax here a few breaths. And when you're ready, keeping the eyes closed, slowly roll it up into a comfortable seated position. Again, you can sit Indian style or go ahead and bring the feet flat, whatever feels good to you. We're just going to take a few breaths here. We're going to bring the hands and rub them together to generate heat. And cup them over the eyes. Slowly blink the eyes open. And bring the hands down into prayer over the heart. Understand? Go ahead and open your eyes. And thank y'all so much for having me and for joining me. Yeah, so I do want to just mention that Ujjayi breathing is one of those things that can really help with anxiety and just kind of keep the nerves together, like keep you focused on what you need to focus on. And if y'all want to do the alternate nostril breathing, you know, you can do that at any point where you just need to recenter your thoughts. And yeah, I hope that y'all have a great night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Crystal. And everyone else that joined us, thank you for being here. We will see you next month. Bye.